Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza movie versus Buwan ng Tamang Panahon. A full circle moment fans can't stop dreaming about. There are ideas that don't just excite fans, they touch something deeper. And right now, one beautiful thought is quietly making its way across conversations. What if a new movie starring Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza is released in a way that echoes or even stands alongside their iconic film, Buwan ng Tamang Panahon? Not as a competition, but as a full circle moment, a memory that defined a generation. When Buwan Tamang Panahon was released, it wasn't just a movie, it was an experience. Fans lined up, hearts were full, and cinemas became places where emotions were shared by thousands at once. It captured something rare, a connection that felt real. And that's why, even years later, people still remember exactly how it felt to watch it. A new movie, a new chapter. Now imagine this. A new film featuring Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza, not as who they were before, but as who they are now. More mature, more experienced, more grounded. And instead of trying to recreate the past, the film tells a different kind of story. One about growth, second chances, timing, love that evolves. Because this time, it wouldn't just be about Kilig, it would be about meaning. Why releasing it alongside that legacy feels special. The idea of aligning a new movie with the memory of Buwan ng Tamang Panahon carries something symbolic. It's not about overshadowing it. It's about honoring it. It's like saying, that story mattered, and this one does too. A reflection of the past meeting the present, a bridge between what was and what could be. Fans are ready, but differently. This time. Back then, everything was loud. Now it's softer. Fans are no longer just excited, they are emotionally invested in a deeper way. They don't just want moments, they want stories that reflect real life. And if a new movie happens, especially one connected in spirit to Buwan ng Tamang Panahon, it won't just bring back memories, it will create new ones. Not a repeat, but a transformation. One thing is clear, this can't be a repeat of the past, and it shouldn't be. Because Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza have grown too much for that. Instead, it should show who they've become, what they've learned, how time has shaped them, a story that reflects reality, not just fantasy. And that's what would make it truly powerful. The kind of film that stays with you. Imagine a film where a glance carries history, a conversation holds years of unspoken truth, a reunion feels earned, not rushed. That's the kind of story only Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza can tell now, because they don't just act it, they understand it. A quiet kind of excitement. What makes this idea even more beautiful is how fans are reacting. There's no pressure, no demands, just a shared thought. If it happens, it will be something special. And that kind of anticipation, it's rare, it's sincere. Final reflection. A moment worth waiting for. Whether this idea becomes reality or remains a beautiful possibility, one thing is certain. The story of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza is far from forgotten, and aligning a new film with the legacy of Buwan ng Tamang Panahon wouldn't just be a strategic move. It would be emotional storytelling at its finest. A reminder that some moments define us, some stories stay with us, and some connections are timeless. One last sweet thought. If that day comes, when a new movie is announced, when their names appear together on the big screen again, and when fans sit in theaters, hearts full once more, it won't just feel like a comeback. It will feel like coming home. And maybe that's exactly what everyone has been quietly waiting for. When timing becomes the story itself, and maybe that's the most beautiful part of all this. Timing. Because if there's one thing that defined Buwan ng Tamang Panahon, it was the idea that everything happens when it's meant to. Not earlier, not later. Just right. So if a new movie starring Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza truly aligns with that same spirit, it won't just be coincidence. It will feel like continuity, like a story picking up exactly where the feeling left off, even after all these years. A scene fans can already imagine. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it. The lights dim in the cinema, the screen fades in, and there they are. Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza, not as the young pair everyone once watched, but as two people shaped by time. No rush, no forced moments, just presence. A quiet conversation, a simple smile, a look that carries everything they've been through, on screen and beyond. And suddenly, without trying too hard, the audience feels it again. the kind of story that reflects real life. What would make this film truly unforgettable isn't just the pairing, it's the honesty it could bring. Because life isn't always about perfect beginnings or dramatic endings. Sometimes it's about meeting again after time has passed, understanding what once felt confusing, finding peace in what is instead of what could have been. And who better to tell that kind of story than Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza? They don't just represent a love team, they represent a journey. Hash not competing with the past, but embracing it. There will always be comparisons. That's natural. But this moment doesn't need to compete with Buwan ng Tamang Panahon, because that film already holds its place in history. Instead, a new movie would do something even more meaningful. It would stand beside it, like two chapters of the same emotional story, one filled with innocence and discovery, the other filled with growth and understanding. Fans ready to feel again, in a new way. The fans who once filled theaters are still here, but they're different now. They've grown. They've experienced life. They've learned what love, timing, and reality truly mean. So when they watch a new film, they won't just be looking for killing. They'll be looking for something deeper. Truth, emotion, connection. And that's exactly what makes this potential project so powerful. The magic of a quiet comeback. If this happens, it doesn't need fireworks. It doesn't need to be loud. Because the magic of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza has always been in the simple things. A glance, a pause, a moment that feels unscripted. And when those moments return, even in the smallest way, they're enough to move millions again. A legacy that continues, gently. What's happening now isn't just about a possible movie. It's about legacy. A reminder that some stories don't fade with time. They evolve. They wait. They return. Not to repeat the past, but to add something new to it. And maybe this is what makes everything feel so special. It's not forced. It's natural. Final continuation. If the right time comes, if the day comes when a new film is finally announced, if it finds its place alongside the memory of Buwan ng Tamang Panahon, if audiences once again sit together, hearts quietly hopeful, then it won't just be about watching a story. It will be about feeling one. A story that has grown with them. A story that understands them. A story that reminds them that some things are worth waiting for. One last gentle promise. And maybe, just maybe, when Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza appear on screen again, in whatever story they choose to tell, people won't just remember the past. They'll realize something even more beautiful, that the magic never really disappeared. It simply waited for the right time to be felt again.